These teeth rewrite prehistoric shark history. All right, picture this. You're sifting through a tray of dusty old fossils. Nothing particularly exciting, just the usual suspects. Then, bam! One tiny fossil, no bigger than your thumbnail, just yanks the rug right out from under 150 years of established shark science. Sounds like a plot from a sci-fi movie, right? But it's not. 30 million years ago, something truly bizarre swam the ancient Atlantic. It had teeth so utterly weird, they looked like they were designed by a committee that couldn't decide if they wanted a knife, a fork, or a bottle opener. And here's the kicker. For decades, these incredible little oddities were completely overlooked. Just last month, a groundbreaking paper dropped, quietly admitting that we'd never really noticed them before. And now that we have, well, they're shredding every neat, tidy story we've ever told ourselves about prehistoric sharks. Are you ready to dive deep and meet the tiny fossils that are rewriting the biggest fish tale ever told? Because trust me, this isn't just about old bones. It's about rethinking everything. So let's get down to brass tacks. What exactly are we talking about here? 6 teeth. That's it. 6 small, unassuming teeth, the biggest of which barely scrapes 2 centimeters. These aren't some massive megalodon chompers. They're tiny, delicate things. They were dredged up, not from some exotic deep-sea trench, but from a sandstone layer, a good 40 meters below a peanut field in South Carolina. Can you imagine? A peanut field. For years, these fossils just sat there, gathering dust in a museum drawer since 1998, innocently labeled Carcinus sp, which, in scientist speak, is basically a shrug and a polite way of saying, yeah, some gray shark, probably nothing special. But then, a hero emerged, paleontologist Dana Ehret. When he finally got around to CT scanning them, what he saw was mind-blowing. The internal canals didn't match living or extinct Carcinus. Not even close. Instead, the enamel folds formed this incredibly distinct Y-shaped ridge, almost like a built-in nutcracker. Think of it as nature's ultimate Swiss Army tooth. It could slice, it could stab, and it could crush, all in one efficient bite. This combination of cutting, piercing, and crushing functions, it's never been seen in any shark ever. This wasn't just a gray shark. This was something entirely new, something that defied all our previous classifications and assumptions about ancient shark dentition. It was, quite literally, a game changer, hidden in plain sight. So, how on earth do you manage to lose a shark for 30 million years? Turns out, it's surprisingly easy. Just bury it under a peanut field. The geological layer where these teeth were found is part of the Cooper Formation, a true fossil goldmine that, way back when, was a warm, shallow bay teeming with life. Picture it. Ancient manatees, whales, sea turtles, and all sorts of marine critters called this place home. The teeth themselves weren't intentionally excavated. They were accidentally dumped into a spoil pile by miners extracting phosphates. These miners, bless their hearts, were just digging for minerals, unknowingly tossing aside scientific treasures alongside turtle shells and whale vertebrae. The real detective work began when graduate student Maya Thompson was meticulously picking through boxes of these discarded fossils for her thesis on Oligocene fish. It was during this painstaking process that she noticed those peculiar enamel ridges. One quick Instagram post later tagging her supervisor, and suddenly, Ehret's team was on a mission. They drove down to South Carolina, rented a backhoe, because sometimes science needs heavy machinery, and spent days sifting through 12 tons of clay in scorching 100-degree heat. It wasn't glamorous. There was no dramatic cave rappelling or daring Indiana Jones-style exploits. Just sore backs, mosquito nets, and the relentless rattle of a rented industrial sieve that shook so hard you felt it in your own fillings. But their perseverance paid off. They found 3 more matching teeth and, crucially, a patch of calcified cartilage. This tiny piece of cartilage was the smoking gun, locking in the identification and proving they had something truly unique. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes the biggest discoveries come from the dirtiest, most tedious work. Back in the pristine environment of the lab at the New Jersey State Museum, the real magic began. Micro-CT scans, incredibly detailed X-rays, were used to stack 1,400 slices into a jaw-dropping 3D model of the tooth. What they saw inside was even more astonishing. The tooth root showed a double pulp cavity, essentially 2 nerve tracks, a feature previously only observed in a few ancient Jurassic ancestors. This wasn't just a new shark, it was a shark with echoes of a much older lineage, a ghost from the deep past. Then came the isotope tests. Analyzing the enamel, they found a strontium ratio that perfectly matched seawater from precisely 30.1 million years ago. And what was happening on our planet at that exact moment? Global sea levels were taking a nosedive. This translates to a critical period in Earth's history. This shark lived at the exact moment the planet flipped from a warm, balmy greenhouse world to a colder, more unpredictable icehouse climate. This wasn't just a minor shift, it was a profound environmental upheaval. Suddenly, the Swiss Army tooth made perfect sense. As the climate cooled and marine ecosystems changed dramatically, its diet likely shifted too. Instead of specializing in one type of prey, it could adapt. It might have spent its mornings chomping on hard-shelled critters, using those crushing ridges to crack open clams or crustaceans. By dusk, it could be scavenging whatever carcasses drifted past, using its slicing edges to tear into soft flesh. This wasn't just a versatile eater, it was an ecological Swiss Army shark, perfectly equipped to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Its very existence tells us a story about adaptability in the face of planetary-scale climate change. For decades, the prevailing narrative in paleontology was pretty simple. As the Earth's climate cooled, the marine world saw the rise of gigantic, specialized filter feeders, like the awe-inspiring megalodon. Smaller, more generalist sharks, so the story went, got pushed out, unable to compete. But these 6 tiny teeth, they scream the exact opposite. They suggest a 2-meter predator, roughly the size of a modern reef shark, but with built-in nutcracker hardware. This Cooperodon, as it's been nicknamed, could exploit food sources that no single-purpose hunter could even touch. That incredible versatility, that ability to switch between crushing and slicing, might have been precisely what allowed it to ride out the big chill that wiped out half the marine megafauna. If survival of the fittest truly means survival of the most flexible, then this little omnivore just became the ultimate poster fish for evolutionary success. It challenges our long-held assumptions that bigger or more specialized is always better. More than that, this discovery hints that shark diversity in the Oligocene epoch was far, far higher than the fossil record currently implies. Why? Because we as scientists have been overlooking weird teeth that simply didn't fit into our neat, pre-established categories. We were so focused on what we expected to find, we missed what was actually there, patiently waiting to be discovered. Let's zoom out a bit and picture the late Oligocene ocean. Temperatures plummeting, plankton populations crashing. Giant whales, those majestic behemoths we know today, were still in their protoforms, evolving and adapting. Conventional wisdom often suggests that in times of ecological chaos, apex predators simplify. They become big, fast, and deadly specialists focusing on one food source. But Cooperodon tells a different story. Instead of simplifying, evolution spun off a pocket-sized opportunist. This suggests that the real winners in climate chaos aren't necessarily the specialists, perfectly adapted for one niche. No, the real survivors, the true champions, are the jacks of all trades. They're the ones who can pivot, adapt, and make do with whatever the environment throws at them. Now, apply that lesson to today. Our oceans are warming at a rate faster than almost any time since that 30 million year mark. What are we seeing? Generalist sharks, like the adaptable bull and tiger sharks, are expanding their territories, thriving in new environments. Meanwhile, specialists, such as the iconic great whites, are showing signs of decline as their preferred prey or specific habitats are impacted. It's almost as if history, written in the fossilized enamel of these ancient shark teeth, provided us with a cheat sheet for survival long before we even knew we needed it. It's a stark, ancient warning and a powerful lesson in ecological resilience. So, what do you call a shark that breaks all the rules? Well, the team hasn't officially christened this new species yet. Naming a new species requires a bit more than just 6 teeth. Ideally, you'd want a jaw, or even better, some vertebrae. But the morphotype, the unique shape and structure of these teeth, is so distinct and undeniable that they've already given it a working nickname, Cooperodon. It's a nod to the Cooper Formation where it was discovered, combined with the Greek word for tooth. It's catchy, it's descriptive, and it's already generating buzz. The formal paper, with all the meticulous details and the official scientific name, is expected next year. Until then, every amateur fossil club on the eastern seaboard is probably combing spoil piles, digging through riverbeds and sifting through sand, hoping to be the one to crown the first fully articulated specimen. Who knew a humble peanut farm could become the epicenter of Paleo Fashion Week, where the latest in ancient shark discoveries are unveiled? It just goes to show, you never know what treasures are lurking beneath your feet, waiting for someone to finally pay attention. If you happen to have a weird, unidentifiable tooth sitting on your bookshelf, maybe something you found on a beach trip or inherited from a quirky aunt, snap a pic and tag a real museum. Seriously, citizen scientists and amateur hunters are responsible for finding half the new shark species these days. Curators absolutely love mystery mail. It's like Christmas morning for paleontologists. Just a friendly tip. Please don't try mailing 30-million-year-old phosphates via regular post. Customs tends to get a little twitchy about that. A clear photo and an email are usually much more effective. Let's just kill that myth right now. Bigger isn't always better. Not in the cutthroat world of prehistoric oceans anyway. Coperodon, this revolutionary shark, likely topped out at around 6 feet, about the same length as a modern reef shark. Its superpower wasn't brute force, it wasn't its immense size, it was options. Pure, unadulterated ecological flexibility. When prey abundance started to yo-yo dramatically with the shifting climate, the shark that could simply switch menus overnight was the one that kept swimming, kept reproducing, and kept its lineage going. We even have direct evidence of this. Fossil scallops found in the very same geological layer as Coperodon's teeth show distinct crushing scars that perfectly match Coperodon's unique cusps. It was clearly a clam eater, among other things. But here's where it gets interesting. Just 50 centimeters higher in the strata, after those significant sea levels dropped and the environment changed further, those telltale scallop scars disappear. And what else? Shark teeth in general become far rarer in those higher layers. This strongly suggests that our generalist hero either moved elsewhere, seeking new hunting grounds, or its numbers crashed once food specialists, perhaps better adapted to the specific conditions, eventually outcompeted it. Flexibility bought it time, immense amounts of time, but not eternity. It's a powerful reminder that evolution is a constant dance, and even the most versatile creatures can face new challenges. Open almost any introductory paleontology chapter, and you'll read a consistent narrative. Serrated edges, those iconic steak knife teeth we associate with fearsome predators, arrived relatively late in shark evolution, primarily with the ancestors of great whites in the Miocene epoch. But Coperodon's front cusplets, they carry distinct microserrations. And remember, we're talking about 30.1 million years ago. That's a full 15 million years earlier than the textbook date for this evolutionary innovation. This discovery doesn't just tweak a timeline, it fundamentally pushes the innovation of cutting-edge teeth back into an era when most sharks still sported smooth, triangular chompers. In plain English, evolution clearly test-drove these advanced cutting edges long before the famous megatooth dynasty even existed. It then, for reasons we're still trying to understand, seemingly hit the pause button on this particular trait for millions of years, only to reintroduce it later. This isn't just about adding a footnote to a textbook. It means redating key evolutionary events, redrawing entire family trees, and completely reteaching every dental timeline slide in every paleontology class from here on out. It's a complete curriculum overhaul, all thanks to a few tiny teeth. The same tenacious team, fueled by this incredible discovery, is now dusting off every single unlabeled tooth in museum drawers across the southeastern United States. It's a monumental task, a painstaking process that could easily take years, but the potential for more hidden gems is immense. Meanwhile, the scientific community isn't waiting. 3D printable files of Coperodon's revolutionary teeth are already available on the museum website. This means high school students, amateur enthusiasts, and professional researchers alike are running bite force simulations, experimenting with models, and engaging with the science in a truly hands-on way. And the next big adventure? Next summer, the team plans to core even deeper into the Cooper Formation, chasing the ultimate holy grail, a full jaw. Imagine what a complete jawbone could tell us about this incredible creature. If they find it, expect headlines that make today's groundbreaking news look like mere minnow ripples. The story of Couperon is far from over. It's just beginning to unfold, piece by fascinating piece. Okay, now it's your turn. Drop your wildest, most imaginative guess for what Couperon's full body might have looked like in the comments below. Think about its fin shape, its coloration, its overall silhouette, whatever comes to mind. The best answer, chosen by the research team, wins a real 3D printed replica of the Couperon tooth, hot off the museum printer, mailed straight to your door. Science should be hands-on, interactive, and fun, and your mailbox definitely deserves something cooler than just bills and junk mail. Let your imagination run wild. 6 tiny teeth, unceremoniously yanked from beneath a peanut farm, just proved that the Oligocene oceans were wilder, trickier, and far more inventive than we ever dared to imagine. These little marvels didn't just add a new species to the roster, they knocked the mighty megalodon off its evolutionary pedestal, handing the survival trophy to a scrappy generalist. They reminded us in no uncertain terms that in the grand, high-stakes poker game of evolution, flexibility beats sheer size every single time. So the next time you bite into a peanut butter sandwich, take a moment. Remember that 30 million years ago, something with astounding Swiss Army dentition might have been crunching clams right where that legume eventually grew. The past is never truly past. Sometimes it's just waiting patiently in a museum drawer, innocently labeled some gray shark, until a curious eye and a determined spirit finally crack it open and reveal its incredible secrets.